The rain-slicked streets of Brooklyn gleamed under the sodium lamps as I stumbled out of the bar. My vision blurred, not just from the whiskey, but from the raw ache of seeing him, James, across the room, laughing with a guy who wasn't me. I hailed a cab with shaking hands, whispering to myself that tonight was the night I'd finally change, finally claw my way out of this numb existence before it swallowed me whole. But as the door slammed shut and the city lights streaked by, I couldn't shake the ghost of his touch from 5 years ago, the one that had promised forever and delivered only heartbreak. That ghost followed me into the next morning, pounding behind my eyes like a hangover from hell. I was 28, a graphic designer scraping by in a cramped Williamsburg loft, my body a testament to too many late nights and not enough fight, soft around the edges, mirroring the mess inside. My best friend, Mia, had been on my case for months. Alex, you're letting life atrophy you. Get a trainer. Get your ass in gear. She was right, as usual. That afternoon, hungover and desperate, I scrolled through apps until I landed on David Reyes' profile, certified trainer, ex-college athlete, all chiseled jaw and easy smile in his photo. Transform your life, his bio read. God, I needed that. Our first session was in a no-frills gym in Bushwick, the kind where the mirrors are cracked and the air smells like rubber mats and ambition. David showed up in a fitted black tank and shorts that hugged his thighs, his dark hair cropped close, skin a warm olive that spoke of summers in some sun-drenched place I'd never been. He extended a hand, strong, calloused, and when our palms met, it was like static, a jolt that made me pull back too quick. Alex, right? Let's see what we're working with. His voice was low, accented faintly with something West Coast, maybe LA roots. I nodded, mumbling about wanting to tone up, but really, it was about control, about sculpting a version of myself that James couldn't break. He put me through hell that first hour, lunges that burned like fire, planks that had me cursing under my breath. But David was patient, his corrections firm yet gentle, a hand on my lower back to straighten my form, fingers lingering just a beat too long. Breathe into it, he'd say, eyes locking on mine in the mirror, and I'd feel exposed, not just physically. By the end, sweat-soaked and spent, I collapsed onto a bench, and he handed me a water bottle with a grin. You're tougher than you think. Man, see you Thursday. I agreed, ignoring the flutter in my chest, telling myself it was endorphins, nothing more. Sessions blurred into weeks. David pushed me harder each time, his energy infectious, a mix of drill sergeant and big brother. We'd banter between sets, him teasing my city boy grip on the dumbbells, me firing back about his protein shake obsession. He was 32, divorced young from a woman he'd met in college. It just fizzled, he'd say with a shrug. No kids, no drama. Lived in a walk-up in bed-stewie. Trained clients online when the gym gigs dried up. Life's too short for bullshit, he'd declare. Spotted me on bench presses, his presence a solid wall behind me. And God, those touches adjusting my stance, wiping sweat from my brow with his thumb, started feeling less like coaching and more like something electric, forbidden. One evening, after a brutal circuit, we cooled down on the mats, stretching side by side. The gym had emptied, just the hum of fluorescence and our ragged breaths. Why now? Alex, he asked, voice soft as he guided my arm across my chest. What lit the fire under you? I hesitated, the truth too raw. James, the ex who'd ghosted me after his family found out. The one who'd whispered, I love you, in stolen motel moments only to vanish when the world got real. Lost someone, I muttered. Myself. Mostly. David's hand stilled on my shoulder, his gaze searching. That sucks. But you're finding him again. I see it. In that moment, under the harsh lights, his eyes held mine, and I swear the air thickened, charged with unspoken want. I looked away first, heart hammering. Fall crept in, turning Brooklyn's chaos into something almost poetic, leaves skittering across sidewalks. The East River fogging up at dawn. My body was changing, shirts fitting looser, a definition emerging in my arms that made me catch my reflection and not flinch. Mia noticed, dragging me to a coffee shop to gloat. Trainer's a wizard. Or is it those puppy dog eyes you're making at your phone? I laughed it off, but she was sharp. I'd started texting David outside sessions, memes about gym fails, playlists for runs. He reciprocated, sharing stories of his abuela's tamales, photos of sunsets from his old Venice Beach days. It felt safe, this digital flirtation, until one night he invited me over for a recovery meal. Nothing fancy, he texted. Just tacos and no judgments. His apartment was a revelation, exposed brick, plants spilling from shelves, a worn leather couch facing floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the street. He cooked shirtless, apron tied low, muscles flexing as he flipped tortillas. We ate cross-legged on the floor, beer bottles sweating between us, talking until the city quieted. "You ever feel like you're running from something?" he asked, leaning back, his knee brushing mine. I nodded, the whiskey from earlier loosening my tongue. Yeah, a guy. We were kids in Ohio. Thought we had it all figured out. Then his dad, a preacher, caught us. James chose family. I chose survival. David's face softened, pain flickering there. "I'm sorry. Man, that's brutal." He reached out, hand covering mine, thumb tracing my knuckles. The touch ignited something primal, and before I could think, I leaned in, our lips meeting in a kiss that tasted like lime and regret, soft at first, then desperate, years of loneliness pouring out. We pulled apart, breaths mingling, his forehead against mine. "Alex," he whispered, voice rough. But doubt crashed in. Was this pity? A rebound for him? I stood abruptly, mumbling excuses about an early meeting, fleeing into the night. The subway ride home was torture, my mind replaying the warmth of his mouth, the way he'd sighed into me. What the hell was I doing? David was straight, or at least, I'd assumed. Divorced. No hints otherwise. This was a mistake, a complication I couldn't afford. The next session was agony. He acted normal, professional, but his eyes avoided mine. Touch is clinical. Focus on form. He'd snap when I faltered, the distance a knife twist. I confronted him after, in the locker room, steam from the showers clouding the air. What was that the other night? Pity fuck vibes. He flinched, towel slung low on his hips. "Alex, it's not. I didn't plan it." But yeah, I felt it. Half for weeks. My heart soared, then plummeted. "But you're..." He laughed bitterly. "Straight? On paper. Maybe. Truth is, I've been fighting this since college. Dated women to fit the mold, family, friends, all expecting the American dream. But you make me want to burn it down." We kissed again, harder, against the lockers, hands roaming but stopping short, boundaries intact. It was a promise, fragile and fierce. Winter bit down, snow blanketing the burrows like a shroud. Our routine evolved, gym by day, stolen evenings by night. David opened up, his Catholic upbringing in East LA. The pressure to be the golden boy. The secret hookups in dorm bathrooms that left him hollow. I'd counter with my own scars, coming out in a small town where faggot was currency. The relief of New York anonymity masking deeper isolation. We built something real, layered, romantic dinners in his kitchen, Lazy Sundays, binging old Tarantino flicks. His head on my chest as we talk dreams. I want a life. Alex, he'd murmur, fingers tracing my collarbone. Not hiding anymore. I believed him. Let myself fall. Hard. But secrets fester. Mia cornered me one February afternoon. Her eyes narrowed over lattes. Who's the guy? You got that glow. But it's haunted. I spilled, gushing about David. And she hugged me tight, until her phone buzzed with a text from a mutual friend. Wait, David Reyes? The trainer? Babe, be careful. I heard he's got baggage, ex-wife drama. Rumors of him dipping out on clients when things get intense. I brushed it off, but doubts seeded. Then came a call from James. It was a Tuesday, mid-session. My phone lit up on the bench, Ohio flashing. Heart in throat. I stepped out. Alex, it's me. His voice. That familiar timbre. Cracked like ice. I'm in the city. On business. Can we talk? I froze. David's eyes questioning from across the gym. Why now? I demanded. 5 years. James. You destroyed me. Silence. Then, I was wrong. Therapy. Coming out to my folks, they disowned me. But I'm free now. I miss you. Please. The plea gutted me. Against every instinct, I agreed to meet, neutral ground, a diner in Midtown. He looked older, lines etched around eyes still blue as Lake Erie. But the smile was the same, disarming. Over greasy eggs, he poured out his regret, the fear that choked him, the marriage to a woman that crumbled under lies, the therapy that unearthed his truth. I never stopped loving you. Alex. Seeing your posts, gym progress. That spark back? I had to try. My resolve wavered. Nostalgia is a thief. I'm with someone, I said finally. It's new, but real. His face fell, but he nodded. Deserve that. Just. If it crashes, you know where I am. I left lighter, or so I thought, until guilt gnawed, a betrayal unspoken. David sensed a shift. That night, tangled in his sheets, clothed. Always. Our intimacy, emotional more than physical, he pressed. You're distant. What's eating you? Lies tumbled out. Work stress. Family crap. He pulled away, hurt flashing. Don't do that. We're in this. The argument simmered, unresolved, until a week later, catastrophe. I came home early from a freelance gig to find Mia at my door. Face ashen. Alex, check your email. It was from an anonymous sender. Screenshots of texts between David and his ex-wife. Maria. Can't keep doing this double life. David. The guy's clueless. In it before he finds out you're still sleeping with her to keep up appearances. My stomach dropped. More messages, meetups. For old times, coded alibis. Betrayal roared. He played me. A straight guy's experiment. While stringing her along. I confronted him at the gym. Printouts, shaking in my fist. This you? Still fucking around to stay normal? His face drained of color. Alex. No, it's not what it looks like. She's manipulating. Trying to pull me back. But the evidence stacked. Hotel receipts. Her Instagram stories from spots he'd sworn were solo runs. We screamed in the empty weight room. Echoes bouncing off mirrors. I trusted you. I hurled. You made me believe in us. He grabbed my arms. Desperate. I love you. Damn it. This is her revenge after the divorce. She swore to out me if I didn't play along. But I ended it. Swear. Doubt warred with pain. I shoved him off, storming out into a blizzard, snow stinging like accusations. Days blurred, ignored calls, deleted texts. James reached out again. Heard you're hurting. Let me be there. Weak. I caved, meeting him at a quiet bar in Chelsea, where old flames reignite easiest. One drink became 3. His hand on my knee under the table. Whispers of second chances. We kissed in the alley, sloppy and sad, a regression to boyhood sins. But as his fingers tangled in my hair, all I saw was David's face, earnest, broken. I pulled back. I can't. Not like this. James nodded, eyes wet. Whoever he is, he's lucky. I left, resolve hardening, trudging through drifts to David's door. He opened it hollow-eyed, unshaven. Alex, I thrust the printouts at him. Prove it. Tell me everything. We talked till dawn, the toxic marriage, her threats to tell his conservative family, the meetups that were coerced apologies. Nothing more. He'd been seeing a therapist, building courage to come out fully. You were my turning point, he admitted, voice cracking. But I fucked up by not telling you sooner. Fear's a bastard. Tears came then. Mine first. His following. We collapsed onto the couch, holding tight, the storm raging outside, mirroring the one we'd weathered. Spring thawed the city, cherry blossoms rioting pink along the avenues. Reconciliation wasn't linear, therapy sessions together, boundaries redrawn, trust rebuilt brick by painful brick. James faded to a memory, a lesson in what not to chase. David and I grew roots, weekend hikes in the Palisades, his hand in mine unashamed, quiet nights where vulnerability was our love language. One evening, atop the Brooklyn Bridge as dusk painted the skyline gold, he dropped to one knee, not with a ring, but a key. Move in, build this for real. Laughter bubbled through my tears. Hell yes, yet shadows lingered. Maria's final ploy came in June, a public post tagging David, twisting truths into slander. Beware the liar who preys on broken boys. Backlash hit, cancel clients. Whispers at the gym. David spiraled, old demons clawing. What they're right? What if I'm poison? I'd hold him through nights of doubt, whispering, "You my truth." The climax shattered on a sweltering July 4th. Fireworks booming as we argued in our apartment. Fight for us, I yelled. Or let me go. He broke, sobbing. I can't lose you. We clawed back, raw and real, emerging scar but whole. By autumn's turn, we'd stabilized. He launched an online coaching brand for queer folks. I landed a steady design gig. No grand gestures, just the quiet romance of shared grocery lists and inside jokes. One crisp October morning in Central Park, mist curling around us. David stopped mid-jog, turning to me with that grin. Love you, Alex. Every messy bit. I kissed him then, slow and sure, leaves drifting like confetti. It wasn't perfection, life's too jagged for that, but it was ours. A testament to choosing light amid the dark. In America's relentless churn, we'd carved a space where touch meant home, not just expectation. Looking back, that park kiss was the exhale after the storm. But storms don't vanish, they evolve, whispering doubts even in calm. David and I settled into domesticity with the awkward grace of two men who'd stared down betrayal and blinked. Our loft in Bed-Stuy became a sanctuary, his weights in one corner, my sketch pads in another, the kitchen perpetually smelling of his experimental chilies. Morning started with coffee and quiet, him scrolling client emails, me outlining logos, interrupted by a brush of hands or a stolen glance that reignited the spark. You're staring, he'd tease, flexing playfully. Habit, I'd retort, pulling him close. It was easy, this rhythm, laced with the sweetness of survival. But ease breeds complacency, and mine cracked open one rainy November afternoon. I was at the studio, tweaking a client's rebrand, when my phone buzzed, not David, but an unknown number. Alex, it's Maria. We need to talk. Coffee? Neutral spot. My pulse spiked. David's ex, the architect of our near ruin. Part of me wanted to block, delete, but curiosity or masochism won. Why? I texted back. Closure, she replied. For all of us. Against better judgment. I agreed, meeting her at a nondescript cafe in Flatbush. The kind with mismatched chairs and indie folk crooning overhead. She was striking, sharp cheekbones, hair in a sleek bob, dressed in tailored wool like she owned the room. No venom in her smile, just weary resolve. Thanks for coming. I know I'm the villain in your story. I stiffened, stirring my black coffee. You made yourself that. She nodded, unflinching. Fair. But David's not innocent. Our marriage? It was a cage for both of us. He chased normalcy. I chased control. Those texts, I leaked them to force his hand, make him choose. Anger flared. By nearly destroying him, us, her eyes softened. A crack in the armor. I was hurt. Alex. Pregnant once. Early, miscarried. He was distant, lost in his own head. I thought outing his secrets would wake him up. The revelation landed like a gut punch. David had never mentioned a loss that deep. He carries it alone, she added. Always has. Don't let him bury you with it. I left dazed, rain soaking my jacket as I wandered home. David was at the kitchen island, chopping onions for dinner, humming off-key to some mariachi playlist. Hey, stranger. Rough day. His casual warmth twisted the knife. I dropped my bag, words spilling. Maria. She told me about the miscarriage. His knife clattered, face paling. She had no right. Why didn't you? I cut in, voice rising. We vowed no more secrets. He sank onto a stool, head in hands. It broke me. Alex. Felt like failure. My fault. Somehow. Couldn't drag you into that darkness. The room spun with hurt. Old wounds reopening. You think I'm fragile? After everything, we argued into the night. Voices echoing off brick, ending in exhausted silence. He slept on the couch. I stared at the ceiling, wondering if love was just trading scars. Reconciliation came slow. Therapy, our lifeline. Our counselor, a no-nonsense dyke named Carla from Jersey, didn't coddle. Secrets aren't protection, they're prisons, she'd say, her Brooklyn accent blunt as a gavel. David unpacked the grief, the blame he'd internalized, the way it fueled his closet. I share my resentment, the fear of being collateral in his unresolved wars. Sessions bled into dates, awkward at first, then healing. One night, post-therapy, we hit a dive bar in Greenpoint, nursing whiskeys and playing pool. To messy truths, he toasted, clinking glasses. I laughed, the sound foreign but welcome. As he lined up a shot, leaning low, I watched the play of light on his back, gratitude swelling. This man, flawed and fierce, was mine. Holiday season descended. New York's frenzy amplifying our fragility. David's family, distant, devout, sent a card, impersonal as ever. No mention of his new life. Mine, scattered post-divorce, invited us to Ohio for Christmas. A minefield of memories. James will be there, Mom warned gently over the phone. With his sister. Divorced now. Poor kid. My stomach knotted. The prodigal returns. David squeezed my hand. We go together. Or not at all. Strength in his voice. But I saw the flicker, his own family ghosts. We opted for a compromise, a quiet city Christmas. Just us, with Mia as buffer. New Year's Eve found us on a rooftop in Williamsburg. Bottle rockets popping over the skyline. The crowd chanted countdowns. David pulled me aside, breath warm against my ear. This year, I promise radical honesty. No more half-lives. Fireworks burst, illuminating his face, and I kissed him deeply, tasting champagne and hope. But fate, that cruel curator, had other plans. January brought a curveball. David's gym folded. Economic fallout from some corporate merger. Clients scattered. He scrambled for gigs. Mood darkening. What if I'm not enough? He'd mutter during runs along the promenade. Manhattan's lights mocking our smallness. I tried buoying him, networking intros, co-brainstorming his queer fitness app, but resentment simmered. One blizzardy night, snow piling against windows, he snapped over a delayed dinner. You don't get it, Alex. This isn't just a job, it's my identity. And mine supporting you? I shot back. While you spiral, the fight escalated. Slinging insecurities, my clinginess, his evasiveness. Doors slammed. I crashed at Mia's, her cat curling on my chest as I scrolled old photos, James and me at prom. Disguised as best friends, David and me at Coney Island. Cotton candy smears and unguarded joy. Dawn brought clarity. Run from this, or run toward it. I returned with takeout and apologies, finding him hunched over his laptop, eyes red. Don't leave, he whispered, pulling me down. We cried, then really talked, about fears of failure, of not measuring up in a city that devours the vulnerable. We're a team, I said, lacing fingers. Lean on me. From there, momentum built. His app launched beta. Queer influencers buzzing. My designs went viral on a campaign. Pride Month loomed. A beacon. But conflict crested unexpectedly. A client of David's, a burly ex-Marine named Tyler, started flirting overtly, gym bro, charm, masking intent. I caught it during a group session, lingering pats, inside jokes. Jealousy gnawed, irrational but insistent. He's just friendly, David assured, but doubt echoed Maria's warnings. Then, the bomb. Tyler cornered me post-workout. David talks about you nonstop. But heads up, he's got history. Hooked up with my buddy last year. Before you. Swore it off. But the words hung. A noose. Betrayal redux? I confronted David that evening, voice trembling. Tyler's saying you cheated. Last year, horror crossed his face. What? No, that was pre-us. A drunken mistake after a bad date. I told you about the fizzles. Partial truth. But omissions stung. Why hide the details? Shame, he admitted. Didn't want to taint us. The row was volcanic. Accusations flying. Trust fracturing anew. I'm done being your redemption arc. I yelled, storming to the bedroom. He followed, pleading. You're my everything. Let me prove it. Midnight negotiations. Tears and truths. Ended in a fragile truce. More therapy. Full disclosure packs. But the seed of paranoia sprouted. Every late text. Every gym linger. I questioned. Summer sweltered. Testing us. We escaped to the Catskills for a weekend. Cabin rented on a whim. Wood smoke and lake swims. No signals. There, under star-pricked skies, David opened a cooler with chilled beers. Remember our first kiss? Tacos and terror. I smiled, pulling him close. Worth it. We made love, not urgently, but reverently, bodies mapping forgiveness. Mornings brought hikes, hand-clasped, talking futures, adoption maybe, a house upstate. A life, he echoed, eyes shining. Back in the city, reality intruded. James emailed a wedding invite. His sisters. No pressure, but it'd mean the world. Nostalgia tug, David urged. Go. Close that chapter. Courage or folly. I attended alone. Small town, church decked in whites. James in the pew behind. His nod bittersweet. Post-ceremony. Overpunch. He pulled me aside. You look happy, Alex. That glow, it's real. Yeah, I said, throat tight. Found my person. He hugged me. Brotherly now. Good. Deserve it. Returning. I shared it all with David over rooftop pizza, his relief palpable. Proud of you. But as fall leaves turned, a deeper conflict brewed, his family. Abuela's health declined, pancreatic. Stage 3, phone from LA. Come home. Mijo. See her. David's anguish was visceral, Catholic guilt, unspoken queer shame. They don't know about us. I nodded. Then tell them. Or we go as friends. The decision loomed. A chasm. The flight to LAX was turbulence incarnate, mirroring the storm in David's chest. We landed under relentless sun, palm fronds rattling like accusations. His sister's Honda waiting curbside. Elena was all warmth, hugs, tamales promised, but her eyes scanned me curiously. David's training partner? Nice to meet the guy keeping him fit. I smiled tightly, playing along, the lie bitter on my tongue. The drive to Inglewood wound through freeways choked with dreams deferred. David's hand clenched in mine until suburbia swallowed us. Abuela's house was a time capsule, saint statues in every nook, air thick with incense and friholies. She lay frail in the living room recliner, oxygen hissing softly, but her grip on David's hand was iron. Me soul, she murmured, eyes lighting. Introductions stuttered, me as friend from New York, and she patted my cheek. Strong. Good for him. Dinner was a ritual, post-soleil steaming. Stories of David's boyhood mischief. Laughter papering over cracks. But at night, in a guest room cot, David whispered fears. What if she dies without knowing me? The real me? I held him, heartbeat steady. Then we honor her by living true. Days blurred, hospital vigils, beach walks where Pacific waves mocked our small dramas. David's dad, stoic in his Ford cap, clapped my back, heard you're a designer. City's tough, unaware of the deeper bond. Tension peaked on day 4. Abuela lucid and insistent. David, something heavy on you. Speak. He froze, fork midway to mouth. The room hushed, Elena's brow furrowed. Ma, it's... He glanced at me. My nod subtle. I'm gay. Abuela. Have been. This is Alex, my partner. Silence stretched. Eternal. Then, tears tracing her wrinkles, she crossed herself. Mijo. Why hide? God loves all hearts. Relief crashed, his dad stiffened, mumbling about processing, but Elena hugged him fierce. About time. Idiot. The homecoming flight was cathartic, tears drying to resolve. But reintegration jarred, Abuela stabilized. Calls frequent, David's app boomed. Queer community rallying. Yet, my own ghost stirred. Freelance dried up, AI tools nipping at design heels, and isolation crept. You're pulling away, David noted one evening. Post-gym glow fading. Work, fine, I lied. But resentment brewed, his successes spotlighting my stalls. Mia intervened, dragging me to a gallery opening. Babe, you're coasting. Chase your fire. There, amid abstract swirls. I networked, landing a pitch for a queer nonprofits campaign. Spark reignited. Thanksgiving tested anew. We hosted Mia, Elena visiting, a motley crew. Turkey charred slightly, David's domain. But toasts flowed to Abuela's fight, to truths told. Laughter echoed. But post-feast, Elena pulled me aside. He's scared. You know, of losing you like he almost lost her. Her words lingered, prompting a late-night talk. Am I enough? I asked, vulnerable. David cupped my face. More than. You're my anchor. Intimacy followed. Tender. Reaffirming. Winter holidays brought James's orbit close again. A holiday card. Innocuous but loaded. Thinking of you this season. David saw. Jealousy, flickering rare. Old flame. I explained. No secrets. He's past. But the card unearthed doubts. Was I fully over? Therapy unpacked it. Carla probing. What does he represent? Unresolved youth. Perhaps. David and I vowed deeper. Weekly check-ins. No holds barred. Climax brewed in March. Spring's tease turning treacherous. David's app hit a milestone. 10K users, but with it, trolls. Anonymous posts decrying groomer trainer, dredging his straight past. Backlash swelled. Sponsors balked. He withdrew. Gym sessions mechanical. Smile strained. They're right. I'm a fraud. I raged internally, countering with love, billboards of our story, community letters. But fracture hit when Tyler resurfaced. Drunk dialing David. Miss our chats. Man, that Alex, does he know about us? Lies or bait? David hung up, telling me immediately, but paranoia peaked. Block him, I demanded. Already did. Trust me, the question hung. A precipice. I didn't, not fully. Sleepless. I scrolled James's socials. Envy twisting. A weak moment, coffee meetup, just closure. He was in town. Earnest. No strings. Alex. Just glad you're thriving. But proximity ignited his laugh. Familiar scent. We talked hours. Boundaries blurring to a hug too long. Guilt propelled me home. Confessing to David over dawnlight. Nothing happened. But I wavered. Devastation crossed his face. After everything, the fight was cataclysmic. Accusations of betrayal. My unresolved bullshit versus his insecurity prison. Plates shattered metaphorically, then literally, a glass hurled. Maybe we're toxic, he gasped. Maybe we end it. I fled to Mia's. Days dissolving in what-ifs. James texted support. I ignored. Carla mediated a session. Pains the teacher. But loves the choice. David's email arrived. I choose us. Fight. Tears blurring. I returned. Door opening to his arms. Me too. We rebuilt. Slower. Couples retreat in the Berkshires. Vulnerability exercises. Summer bloomed forgiving. Pride parade. Rainbows drenching us in joy. His hand high in mine. Yet, the ultimate twist, Abuela's decline accelerated. August call come now. We jetted west. Hospice stark under fluorescent hum. She rallied for us, whispering to David, love him fierce, like I loved your abuelo. No regrets. Her passing was peaceful. Moonlit vigil, our eulogy. Funeral blended cultures, rosaries and rainbow pins. His dad's hand finally on my shoulder. Family. Grief bonded us deeper. Loss of forge. Back east. Renewal. My nonprofit gig evolved to full-time. David's app pivoted to mental health tie-ins. Fall foliage mirrored our palette, vibrant, enduring. One eve in the park. Leaves crunching. David knelt again. This time, a ring, simple platinum. Marry me? Not despite the mess, but because. Laughter choked with yes. Brooklyn buzzed approval. Mia's whoops. Elena's cheers. Engagement news rippled. A quiet wave in our loud world. No Vegas excess, just a courthouse elopement plan for spring. Intimate circle witnesses. But life's script twists. October brought my diagnosis, testicular cancer. Early stage. Caught on a routine check. Shock numbed. Me? Now. David held vigil in the sterile consult room. His will fight a mantra. Surgery loomed. Fertility banked, just in case. Practicality amid panic. Mia rallied bake sales for research. Elena flew in Abuela's recipes as comfort. Recovery was hell. Hospital haze. David's face the first I saw post-op. Tears streaked, but smiling. You're stuck with me. Husband-to-be. Chemo followed. Waves of nausea and isolation. He'd read to me Kerouac road tales, escaping Brooklyn beds to imagine highways. Vulnerability peaked, bald, frail. I confessed fears. What if I'm less? Broken goods? He traced my scalp gently. You're unbreakable. My hero. Those touches, beyond trainers now. Pure devotion, stitch me whole. Remission declared in January. A fragile victory. We celebrated low-key, dim sum in Chinatown. Toast to tomorrows. But scars linger, intimacy tentative at first. Bodies relearning trust. Therapy adapted, couples plus solo. Carla's wisdom gold. Cancer's not the end, it's the edit. Spring elopement dawn crisp. Ying petals dusting Prospect Park. Vows exchanged under oaks. In chaos and calm. I choose you. Rings slid on. Simple bands, etched with coordinates. Our first kiss spot. Mia officiated. Teary. James sent a card from afar. Happiest for you. Closure. Full. Married life unfolded, ordinary miraculous. Joint taxes baffling. Shared closets chaotic. David's app thrived. Expansions to workshops. Mine bloomed into a studio. Queer artists mentored. Conflicts ebbed, not absent, but navigated. His workaholic lapses met with gentle nudges. My overthinking diffused by his humor. One spat over holiday plans. His family versus mine. Ended in compromise. Alternating coasts. Building bridges. Summer's heat wave tested. Abuela's anniversary. Graveside in L.A. We scattered petals. Toasting her spirit. David's dad. Softer now. Shared stories. His own youthful rebellions. Proud of you, son. And Alex. Healing generational. Back home. A surprise. Positive pregnancy test. Not mine. But via surrogate. A friend from the community. Our family, David beamed. Ultrasound grainy but profound. Joy tempered by realism. Adoption paths explored too. Inclusivity our north. Fall deep in bonds. Parenthood classes. Nursery paints. But drama crested subtly. A client lawsuit against David. False claims of inappropriate advances echoing old trolls. Legal fees drained. Stress reignited doubts. Am I jinx? He fretted. I countered fierce. Crowdfunding launched. Community fierce. Victory came. Settlement quiet. But the scare unified. Vows renewed in whispers. Winter wrapped us. Baby's first Christmas. Tiny hands grasping ours. No perfection. Sleepless nights. Teething tantrums. But love's alchemy turned exhaustion gold. One snowy eve, rocking the crib, David murmured, beyond expectations. You. I kissed his temple. Heart full. In America's vast tapestry, Brooklyn's grit, L.A.'s sprawl, weed-woven hours, dramatic, scarred, profoundly human. Betrayals forged resilience, misunderstandings, empathy. Touch, once unexpected, now eternal, home in his arms, where conflicts yield to compassion, and romance endures, unyielding. Years later, reflecting from our upstate porch, city escapes traded for space, the journey crystallizes. James, a footnote, catalyst to truth. Maria, distant peace, occasional holiday cards. Us, a testament. Love isn't absence of storm, but dancing in rain. As leaves turn, so do we deeper. Tua, forever entwined.